conference next hour to announce the surrender of a defendant involved in the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme. So far, 65 people have been convicted in connection with misusing the federal child nutrition program and ultimately stealing $240 million, including ringleader Amy Bach. The arrest of a 31-year-old armed man following an 8-hour standoff in South Minneapolis yesterday illustrates the danger officers face when serving arrest warrants.
Hennepin County deputies were trying to serve a felony arrest warrant near 28th Street and Nicollet Avenue, knocking on the apartment door when they heard multiple shots fired. Use of force expert Joe Dutton says officers are trained in this situation to deal with all kinds of matters.
Warrants inherently are just very dangerous.
He says judges issue the warrants, and depending on the person and potential for violence, they can serve different kinds of warrants.
Especially if the person is deemed dangerous, then those warrants will be conducted by a SWAT team. They won't be conducted by officers on the street.
Susie Jones, News Talk 830 WCCO.
A new report finds Operation Metro Surge caused $700 million in economic damage in Minneapolis. That is up significantly from the city's original projection of just over $200 million.
We found that the neighborhoods that were hit hardest were Central and Whittier, communities that are home to many small businesses, workers, and immigrant families. These numbers matter because they help tell the story of exactly what happened, but they also help guide what comes next.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry says the city has started delivering relief to businesses, with nearly 1,200 of them receiving license fee refunds. The Minnesota Center for Environmental Advocacy issuing a legal demand letter to Hennepin County over its trash burning plant in downtown Minneapolis. The group alleges the county's latest plan for the facility doesn't address the problem of toxic ash. Attorney Luke Norquist.
Minnesota in particular passed a law that directs all counties that use waste incinerators to clearly state their strategies to reduce the toxicity and quantity of incinerator ash in their waste plants. Hennepin County has not done this.
Advocates are pushing for a permanent closure of the facility. Utility and public works crews have been busy today restoring power and cleaning up fallen trees and branches after our overnight storms. Xcel Energy is reporting about 9,800 customers who are still without power. That is down from a high of about 50,000 overnight. WCCO News Time is 3:05.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
35 east southbound is make right toward West 7th Street. Got a crash. Working left lane is blocked right now. Also activity off to the right shoulder. Get ready for slowdowns to come down from Randolph. If you're going to be traveling 35W northbound, that's a slow ride into downtown Minneapolis as you move past 42nd Street. Southbound 35W, some congestion there between 106th Street and Highway 13. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
And here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
A lot of things are moving out. The rain, the storms, the humidity will be partly cloudy overnight tonight, down to 62. Now, a few scattered showers are possible tomorrow. Nothing severe expected. And what a difference. Only a high of 74. Plenty of sunshine on Friday, up near 79, a bit breezy. We should be dry this weekend with highs in the 70s.
Mostly cloudy right now, humid 85 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Because the daily grind in Minnesota doesn't come with an instruction manual. News Talk 830 WCCO. You're thinking about it. Jason's talking about it. There are no breaks on bold takes here. Buckle up. This is Drive Time with DeRusha. Tuned up and rolling thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington. Now, live from Minnesota's biggest microphone, here's Jason DeRusha.
Well, I have to start with my reaction to what we heard over the last half hour and what we heard in Laura's news, that big number. It's eye-popping. The immigration surge costing Minneapolis employees and businesses nearly $700 million. I do not think that the state should bail them out. I do not think that the Fed should bail them out. Drive Time with DeRusha. Tell me I'm wrong at 651-461-9226, because I believe bad stuff happens to businesses and to employees every day with every policy decision. Good stuff happens too. I don't see a rationale as to why we should step up as a state and bail out these businesses. Now, I do think as neighbors, as people who care about small businesses, as people who care about our community, we should step up and go back to Whittier, go back to these neighborhoods where ICE and the ICE surge has, without question, impacted these businesses. But are we serious? If you're going to make these businesses whole, which I get the moral argument, it wasn't their fault, it was a federal government action. Every road construction project cost businesses money. Every time the president put tariffs into effect, that cost businesses money. Every new attack in the Iran war has raised gasoline prices. Nobody's making people whole for that. I get the emotional appeal here. But the logic to me, I'm out. Making these businesses whole by some sort of state bailout, by some sort of federal bailout, no. 651-461-9226. Just business sucks sometimes. If you're a farmer, there are policy decisions that impact your business. This was a policy decision that if you want to come back and say, hey, you really screwed our businesses, which I do believe that the federal government absolutely screwed our businesses in Minneapolis and St. Paul, in the suburbs, in greater Minnesota. I really believe that. But I just can't get my head around the logic that this time there should be a bailout. But like road construction, you can power through. Tariffs, pivot, figure out a new approach. Tax policy changes, cost of doing business. I just don't see it. And that's only the beginning of my issue with trying to make these businesses whole. Now, some of you at 651-461-9226 are doubting the number, the $700 million number that Minneapolis said Operation Metro Surge cost Minneapolis. I will say I don't doubt the number. A large amount of that is lost wages for employees who didn't work. So what are you going to do about that? You can go find people who were here illegally who didn't show up to work. Well, you can't do anything about that. You can help the people who maybe didn't come to work because they were afraid. But how are you going to administer that without fraud? You're going to write a check to businesses based on what? What their sales were last January compared to this January? The practicality of this also seems like a loser to me. Don't get me wrong. I am not arguing that there was no impact. Quite the opposite. That was my main argument during this whole thing as to why people who supported the federal immigration policy should wake up and acknowledge that what was happening on our streets was not acceptable. Because even if you're not on board with the moral argument or the Bill of Rights argument, I think everybody will be on board with the fact that what the federal government was doing was negatively impacting our city, our state, our businesses. So for me, that was the unifying factor here. I just don't see how you write a check today. And I'm also concerned that you be writing a check to businesses that in some cases are unlikely to make it anyway. And some of that is just, that's how business goes. But some of that is the ongoing part of this situation. Texters at 651-461-9226 say they never bailed out businesses for lost income due to the George Floyd riots either. Yeah, I mean, and certainly some businesses did sue those businesses, especially at 38th and Chicago, sued the city of Minneapolis. And I think they had a pretty intriguing case because it was the actions of a city employee that led to, well, now we've had, 5 years of inaction at that neighborhood? But I believe that case was thrown out of court, or they maybe it's still going on, but I know it's been a challenge for those businesses. And no, we didn't have a legislative session that said everybody around the state should bail them out. 612er says, honestly, I think you're being a little too hard on our small businesses. The government bails people out all the time, specifically billionaires, and I don't see why they can't throw a little bit of money at the little guy. So how do you do it? How do you do it in a way that makes sense? Jason, you're talking like an old man who comes from an era when people didn't expect a handout for their misfortunes. Texter continues, keep it up. Let's go to George and Monticello on the CCO Talk and Text line, 651-461-9226. I don't mean to be unempathetic here, George. I do really feel badly for these businesses. But for me, bailing people out in this case and not in all of the other cases when government policy may have a negative impact on business, it just doesn't make sense to me. What do you say?
I say this all started with COVID and it's not stopped. The government keeps interfering in everybody's business ever since COVID. They used to shut down restaurants. They fined restaurants. They did all kinds of things during COVID, which was illegal. They're not supposed to do that. This all started. It's been going on and on and on. They're getting more powerful. No good.
It's interesting, George, because I don't think too many people have made the through line here in saying that actions during COVID, government actions, which I think there certainly are a lot of people who thought government overreached the amount of power they should have. Not a lot of people I have heard making that connection to the immigration surge, which also I think you could make I'm just thinking through what you're saying, George, and it is sort of an interesting overreach, different politics, different policies, but it still is government trying to come in and grab power.
This has been this government's been overreaching for the last 10 years, and it's just ruined everything. It always ruins things when they do it.
George, thanks for calling. Appreciate it. Interesting perspective. Patrick in St. Paul. Patrick, do you think those businesses should be bailed out by the government?
I don't have the right answer for that, Jason. More of a question.
Sure.
We've seen bailouts. We bailed out banks. We bailed out car companies. And the federal government continues to subsidize oil and gas. Who makes more money than those companies?
Yeah, true. Do you think, and I feel what you're saying, Patrick, to me, if anyone's going to bail out a local business for federal overreach and federal misbehavior, as far as I'm concerned, the way that the immigration agents conducted their business in this community was outrageous. To me, it should be the federal government, but we know that's not going to happen, right? They just blame the protesters and blame Minneapolis. It becomes this blame game.
I agree with you there. It should be the federal government, if anybody. They came in and I've been involved with law enforcement for over 30 years. Their tactics were horrible. They're tactics that have not been used in 20, 30 years around here. So what they did was just plain wrong, and it caused a huge problem. If anyone's on the hook, they are.
I'm with you. Thanks, Patrick. Sean and Egan, you're on CCO. What do you think should be done? The number today, it's an eye-popping number, that nearly $700 million just in Minneapolis. You have effects in St. Paul and in many, many different communities all over the state. Do you think they should be bailed out?
Well, I think I agree with your last caller, and I agree with you in a way as well. We just got to be more creative with it, Jason. If the federal government is the ones who should be on the hook, no one wants to pay directly. You don't want to cut money out of your check. I don't want to cut money out of my check. But if the federal government is on the hook, basically, for this $700 million, you're right, it's an eye-popping number. Why can't we be more creative? Don't we pay more as a state to the federal government? Are we one of the handful of states that pays more than we receive back in federal money? Can we do it somehow like that? I'm not an accountant, but there's pretty clever accountants. Can we pay less to the federal government and then issue maybe tax credits to these these small businesses and pay for it that way? I mean, I don't know. I'd like to hear more smart people who are accountants maybe answer that.
That's really good, Sean. Thank you. I like where Sean's thinking. Do you have a creative idea, a way that we could? Because I do want to help these businesses. I just don't think a bailout is the way to do it. 651-461-9226. Drive Time back in just a minute.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
What could you change? What could you change by the 4th of July? It's Jason here with that challenge for you. So a useful way, I think, to think about the power of transforming your life, the power of making one decision, and the power of that making that decision right now. It's Jason here for Livia. And I talk about the weight that I lost with Livia, and I started in the summer. I started right around now. If you start today, if you make that change, you could lose 15 pounds or more. That sounds good. How about this? You could have more energy. You could feel healthier. You could have greater confidence this 4th of July. Livia does it with a personalized plan, expert nutrition, guidance, and then one-on-one support every step of the way. I've had my team at the Livia Weight Control Center in Coon Rapids at my side for 4 years now. For nearly 17 years, they've been a trusted local partner, not just helping people lose weight, but helping people improve their health and achieve lasting results. Today, I have a special price for you. When you join Livia today, you will get 8 weeks free. You tell them you heard about it from DeRusha and that Jason said you can have 8 weeks free. 855-GO-LIVIA or visit Livia, Livea.com. At Livia, you are one decision away from feeling your best.
Staples has hundreds of ways to grow your business this spring, like spectacular signs, brilliant brochures, eye-popping posters, mouth-watering menus, and more. Shop now through June 13th and save up to $150 on all your custom prints. Staples. That was easy.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Life can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to go through it alone. On my podcast, From the Heart with Rachel Braithen, I share openly and vulnerably about everything life brings us and what we can learn by living with our hearts a little bit more open. Every Friday, a new episode brings you a new story with topics on self-care, motherhood, healing, and more. You are enough, just the way you are. This podcast is a reminder of that. Follow and listen to From the Heart with Rachel Braithen wherever you get your podcasts.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Steering you through what matters. Drive Time with DeRusha. Tuned up and rolling thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington.
All right, we're talking about the hundreds of millions of dollars in economic impact from the ICE surge that mostly happened in December, January, and into February. Texters are all over the place on this one. I am skeptical of a government bailout in this case, not because I doubt the numbers. And one texter says classic Democratic math. First said 300 million, now 700 million. Mayor Fry claims mostly poor people and people of color were damaged. Do I hear 1 or 2 billion? You know the numbers will keep rising. So Dan and I were talking about this before we started the show, because whenever you hear, look, Dan characterized it. I like how you.
Yeah, I just asked the question because I saw that number, and like you said, it was an eye-popping number.
It is.
So my first question was, is this a Minneapolis number or is this a meet Minneapolis number? Because there's the consistent joke that when they're doing crowd sizes, it's just pulling numbers out of thin
air. When the
air.
Super Bowl was here, the economic impact was 420 million, bazillion,
kajillion, 5011, whatever. Right. You're just making numbers up after a point.
I do think they have pretty good data on this because you know what the sort of tax situation was for employee hours. There was research done on this that sort of broke down some of the money. So restaurants, for example, lost $82 million. Retail lost $63 million. Grocery stores lost $28 million in revenue. But a lot of this is lost wages. And, what do you do with that? What do you do with that? Do you directly? I do think people should be, and these businesses should be helped. But I think the best way to help is for people to actually get back into these neighborhoods. My other fear is that if you write a big check to businesses that people are currently avoiding, whether it's neighbors avoiding going to those businesses, whether it's suburbanites avoiding it, whatever the case is, this thing isn't over. So is it smart to write a big check to these businesses and say, we know you lost $1 million or $2 billion in revenue? And I know this stinks, right? It's unfair to the business that did nothing other than exist. It is unfair. But so are all sorts of governmental interventions, and we don't write a check for it. 952er stadiums for billionaires, tax breaks for corporations, billions in bribes for our current king, but no help for the not rich. What the F, Jason? So I think there are ways to do this. And I don't think a direct bailout is the way to do it. I just don't. Is a forgivable, like what the city is doing right now, I think is wonderful. License fees are being deferred. Great. Yes, that's the city in a responsible way saying, look, we know you had a hardship. We're trying to give you a hand. Texter says, after George Floyd, businesses got forgivable loans. I think if forgivable loans, look, if this is our new approach, I want to see it made available for businesses that get hosed by 2 years of construction, like was going on Hennepin between downtown and uptown. And how many businesses have shut down there because construction was such a pain in the neck? If that's our belief that, look, when the government causes chaos or inconvenience to your business, that we're going to give you a path to make you whole, well, I guess I'm open to that conversation in a bigger picture. But for this circumstance, I worry that you're throwing money to businesses that are going to be failing anyway because people aren't going to them. Let's go to Richard. He is in Minneapolis. Richard, what do you think should be done here?
Well, I got a couple of things.
Sure.
The president of the city council and another council member they wanted to add insult to injury recently by adding a 30-day notice of intent to file an unlawful detainer for all the small businesses like little grocery stores and little coffee shops and little businesses like that. That would have added insult to injury. I mean, these landlords are, many are of different races and different backgrounds. They got to pay the taxes. So how are they going to pay the taxes if the city said you have to wait 30 days to file file unlawful detainer to get your business out, try to rent it to another business.
To be able to do it. Yeah. Thanks, Richard. I mean, that is, there are all sorts of technical ways that you can kind of get into this and get at this. Dan in Hopkins. Dan, you're on CCO. What do you think?
I think we should eliminate all subsidies for all businesses, oil, gas, ethanol, everything. We should look to dramatically cut Minnesota state budget, probably 50%. And I think nobody would notice. Most of us would never notice. There's so much government fraud, and we see it. A lot of it we don't even know about. It's been hidden and swept under the rug.
Would you be willing to take the disruption that would come from that, right? So certainly farms in many cases would go under. There would be unemployment that would result of this. It would be what you're saying would result in massive like human cost.
Well, I believe there should be a weaning off period. But we're just going to continue subsidizing non-food products grown on our farms for oil. I mean, it's ridiculous to subsidize ethanol. It's ridiculous to subsidize oil. Don't you think? I mean, it's just absurd. You're robbing all of us taxpayers so a small portion of the population can stay afloat.
Yeah, I mean, some of it is we're trying to help our folks compete with the rest of the world. But from a theoretical standpoint, I'm with Dan. Like I wouldn't mind like wiping all that out and starting fresh. But the problem is you're trying to help. We're a global economy. And so it's easier said than done. It's one of those things like the flat tax that sounds good. And then when you get into it, you're like, well, now we lose our ability to sort of incentivize the things we want and downgrade the things we don't want. Yeah. It's a tough situation. It is. And one texter does say, look, I'm not sure of the answer, but as a downtown condo owner, I do know that efforts are being made by our community to support our businesses, and we're trying. However, a healthy downtown is important for everyone. I would say the biggest area that needs your help is Eat Street. It's that Whittier, Eat Street, South Minneapolis, near South Minneapolis area. And they're still down. It is still down. And some of it is because their own neighbors are still afraid to come out. And I don't know how you change that. I don't know how you change it. Let's break. I want to talk about your favorite dive bar. Your favorite dive bar. Because Esquire has named best bars in America, and one of them is right here in the Twin Cities. I'll tell you what it is, but I want to know your favorite, 651, and what makes a good dive bar. 651-461-9226. Drive Time, back in a minute.
Drive Time with DeRusha is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Go see Dan Dingman and the crew today, or always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
One of the most highly anticipated IPOs is on the way, with AI startup Anthropic announcing that it confidentially filed its IPO papers with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Anthropic didn't release any financial numbers, but it recently raised $65 billion, giving it a private market value of $965 billion, making it more valuable than rival OpenAI on the private market. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hey, it's Jason here for Tureen Dermatology. Did you know June is Men's Health Month? And as a guy, if I have one guiding ethos when it comes to medical care, it is I like to wait. Let's wait her out. Let's see. You know what? I bet that'll go away. It's stupid. You know it is. And this month is the real reminder to stop that waiting and seeing and start taking your skin health seriously. Men are often at higher risk for certain types of skin cancer, and early detection does make all the difference. At Tureen Dermatology, that's where I go in Roseville. So does my father-in-law, who has a long history of skin cancer. Board-certified specialist. Oh, so do my two boys. We got 4 men's health advocates going to Tureen Dermatology. Thorough skin checks. That's so key. I'm so glad I do those once a year. Personalized care. The environment is professional, but it's so comfortable. You're just going to feel so safe. Feel like you were being silly for waiting and seeing, but they never make you feel dumb about it. 11 locations. They're all over Western Wisconsin, all over the Twin Cities and greater Minnesota. You can get in within 3 weeks. New appointments within 3 weeks. How about that? Don't ignore that new spot or changing mole or whatever skin concern you have. Prioritize your health. Become a new patient today. Don't wait. Tureen is Tareen. TureenDermatology.com.
Thought-provoking.
This deal with HCMC for HCMC is actually the very least our lawmakers could do.
Strong voices, sharp opinions.
Donald Trump makes his decision on law enforcement, on justice, when it benefits him.
Where you don't have to be loud to be bold.
I would like to get rid of mail-in voting, move Election Day to Saturday, and say show up or shut up.
Minnesota's radio station. News Talk 830 WCCO.
This summer, make the lake more than a place you visit. Make it where the kids learn to cast a line. Where sunset cruises turn into family stories. Make this summer the one your family remembers with Bennington. Bennington is Minnesota's #1 selling pontoon brand. And right now, there's over 500 boats in stock at trusted dealerships across the state. Built for cruising, fishing, entertaining, skiing, and water sports, Bennington gives Minnesota families premium comfort, craftsmanship, and the kind of quality you can feel every time you step on board. New Bennington pontoons start at $29,999, and Tri-Tunes start at $49,999, with affordable monthly payment options and competitive financing available. During the month of June, mention this ad and receive $500 off your next Bennington purchase from participating Bennington dealers, including Frontier Marine, Hallberg Marine, Mankato Motorsports, Power Lodge, Miller Marine, Rays Marine, River Valley Marine, and Westries Marine of Wilmer. Bennington. Minnesota summer starts on the water. 96%. That's how many of Minnesota's 24,000 corn farms are family-owned and operated. They aren't big, faceless corporations, but moms and dads, brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, and cousins. Together they innovate, implement new technologies, and steward our natural resources, all to ensure that we have a safe, healthy food and fuel supply and provide for future generations. 96%. That's Minnesota family corn farming. That's your Minnesota corn farmer. Learn more at mncorn.org.
Chad here for Aquarius. Let's all get the water you and your family deserve and have worry-free water flowing through your home. That's why I work with Aquarius. They are an independent Kinetico dealer. What a deal right now. $500 off when you trade in your old water softener, when you trade up to Kinetico's whole water treatment system. I've had one since 1993. Company around since 87. Great company, AquariusHomeservices.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
And the crash still working South 35E near West 7th Street, and the left lane is blocked yet. Some activity off to the right shoulder. Traffic is backed up toward downtown St. Paul with slowdown beginning back at Kellogg. East 94 slows into downtown St. Paul as you make the run from Lexington Avenue on in. If you're going to be traveling 35W northbound, get ready for your slowdowns there. 694 heading up to Highway 10. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
B&M Tree Services, certified arborists offering tree trimming, storm cleanup, and full tree removal with professional service at prices you can afford. Call 1-800-569-9034 or visit bnmtree.com. Trusted, professional, reliable.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Well, it looks like that severe weather we were worried about round 2 today has gone significantly to the east. Wausau, Wisconsin Rapids, all the way to Milwaukee, just getting hammered by rain. We are mostly in the clear. Here is Chris Schaefer.
Tonight will be very transitional. The rain and the storms clearing out. Much more comfortable air moving in. Partly cloudy, falling back to 62 overnight tonight. Scattered showers are possible tomorrow. We'll take the rain and bank it. Nothing severe expected, a high of 74. Friday, the sunshine returns, a high of 79, which is close to average. A bit breezy. Our high should stay in the 70s right through the weekend.
In St. Paul, Minnesota, no rain. It is 88 degrees thanks to B&M Tree Service here on CCM.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
The words they used were confusing, intimidating, overwhelming, taking over the world.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
I would run through a fire just to be by your side. If your heart's on the line, you could take mine. It's crazy, but it's true. There's nothing I won't do. I'd risk it all.
I love a dive bar. Is this incredibly cliche, Dan? For like a guy like me who likes a fancy dinner, who likes the Four Seasons, who last night had dinner at the Elliott Park Hotel, where somebody was making cacio e pepe, which is just salt and pepper.
So why not just say salt and pepper? Why do you got to make up a fancy name?
Italian, you know. It's spaghetti, and they're tossing it in the big cheese wheel to get like right table side. So I like a show. I like a fancy.
So you're asking if it's cliche to then also like a dive bar?
Of course I like a dive bar. Like what? It's the classic bougie, like every la-di-da.
Look, I can go slum it.
Yeah. I worry a little bit that I'm a little cliche about that.
I say embrace it.
Embrace the cliche.
Embrace the clichéness.
Yes,
I'm that guy.
I am that guy. I am that guy.
Yeah.
I like it fancy.
Why apologize to anybody for it?
But I like a dive bar. Esquire just made a list of the best bars in America. And proving that these lists are such a load of crap. Halftime Rec in St. Paul is one of the best bars in America, according to Esquire. Now, under no circumstance is Halftime Rec one of the best bars in America. It's not. And it's great. It's great. I'm happy for them. I'm glad they're on the list. Why is this? Why do you look confused?
Well, because it's great.
Best bar in America? Halftime Rec?
I mean, isn't that somewhat subjective? I mean, first of all, what criteria did they use?
None.
Secondly,
14 best bars in America. Halftime Rec in St. Paul. Come on.
They used no criteria whatsoever. They just threw a dart at a dartboard, or what do you think they
just
did?
Asked like
they didn't go to Yelp or something?
No, there's no criteria, which is actually better than sort of the farce criteria that most of these things use. Well, we use 47 metrics and put them in, and we found which bars are closest in proximity to liquor stores.
I don't feel like you're really embracing you're that guy. Right? If you're going to both love the fancy and the dive bar,
right?
But then you're going to freak out when a dive bar gets recognition.
Well, a dive bar could get recognition, but is Halftime Rec that bar? The first sentence says, Halftime Rec is not trying to impress you or me. I told a bartender I was considering the place for inclusion on this list. She smiled, said, "Cool, thank you so much," and got back to working the tap for a guy's beer.
Which seems to be what you would do at a dive bar.
What else
in that
would? It's what
situation.
you should do at any bar.
Okay, let me ask you this. If it's not halftime rec, what would be your vote as the best dive bar in the cities or Minnesota as a whole you pick?
Grumpy's, maybe?
Because here's my point. I think any dive bar that would have made this list from the Twin Cities, you would have that same reaction to.
Maybe.
I think it's the dive barness being recognized on a national scale that has you all discombobulated.
If you put it as a best dive bar in America, then maybe it's right. All right, so many texts. So many texts with your favorite dive bar. Welcome your calls as well. And tell me, like, what makes it sing for you? What makes it sing? It's 651-461-9226. Would the Nook count? Like the Nook, maybe? But I'm sort of liking that more for their Juicy Lucy and their French fries. So maybe that's cheating. Bay Street Burger Dive in St. Paul. Bay Street Burger Dive is phenomenal. Excellent burger. Vegas Lounge, says a texter. So like back in the day, the official Minnesota contribution to best dive bar list was Nye's. And
Sure.
Nye's for sure made sense. It was kitschy. You had the sing-along with the piano.
Yeah.
And the Vegas Lounge, karaoke. Here's the problem with Vegas Lounge. The party buses pull up.
Mhm.
Like, oh, the kind of, can I say douchebags on the radio?
You just did.
Those guys in the party bus. I was just asking a question. I think you can't get in trouble for that, can you? Meteor, best dive bar. Now, Meteor is an interesting scenario because, and maybe this is getting to the kind of dive bar that I like.
I want to go back for just 1 second
Sure.
because, as you would suspect, I haven't been to many dive bars.
Dan doesn't drink.
And I haven't been to many bars in general. Just that's not my scene.
Yeah.
I have been to the Vegas Lounge.
And
too many people. It's too many people. Can't handle it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's wonderful for the people that enjoy that.
It's pretty
but,
fun.
you
It's
know,
pretty
if
fun.
you're a big karaoke person, that is a great spot for you.
Meteor is fancy cocktails in a laid back dive bar vibe. I do love that. Like, I don't need a precious situation, but I do want something more than just like tap beer.
So a little bit of fancy.
Maybe
with your
a
dive
little
bar.
fancy.
Okay.
Tavern 13 in Burnsville, never been. Jimmy's, Mayslacks. Mayslacks is good. Man, Mayslacks is good diver. Cuzzies on Washington Avenue, very good. Shaw's Bar and Grill in Northeast. Frenchman's Club, yep. Tony Jarro's CC Club, now you're talking. Skinner's on Randolph and St. Paul. Texter says Nook is a restaurant, not a dive bar, yeah. Turf Club in St. Paul. I saw Jason bellied up to the bar. Accurate.
Turf Club I've been to too.
Turf
But that was
Club's
for a show.
For a
right?
show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was there for a show too.
Mhm.
Shortstop Tavern, best burgers ever in Coon Rapids. So for me, dive bar is all about vibe, right? What you want in a dive bar for me is I want Christmas lights year round. So a Halftime Rec does have that. Halftime Rec was featured, I believe, in Grumpy Old Men, if I remember correctly, that there was a scene that was shot in there. And Christmas lights year round, I think, should be sort of expected in a dive bar. I want one of the bartenders to be like someone who has chain smoked for about 35 years, and her name should be something like Marge or Carol or Betty. I think that should be a part of it. Halftime Rec is a good bar, but I always equate dive bar to have a hint of danger, says a texter. I think there's something to that. The Gopher Bar in St. Paul, yeah, home of the Coney Island. Jack from St. Cloud says, I'm not sure if it's a dive bar, but Boudreaux's Bar in St. Cloud's oldest bar, yeah. That's pretty good. I do think a little bit of danger is part of the dive bar as well. I'm glad for Halftime Rec. The writer visited Grumpy's, Hi Meteor, Flora, Mancini's, Parlor, Moscow on the Hill, Dusty's, Stargazer, The Spot, and Bull's Horn. And Little T's. That's a good list. That's a great list, actually. Maybe I need a dive bar, like a weekend dive bar crawl. 3:47, we're going to break. Twins baseball on the air tonight. The Twins are in a funk. Is it time to sell? Not the team. Well, maybe. I feel like I always need to clarify in those discussions. Would you trade Joe Ryan if you got a good offer? Drive Time. We'll talk about that in just a minute.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Tonight, I am grilling up some beautiful tomahawk pork chops. It's Jason for my friends at the Minnesota Pork Board. I've had those pork chops sitting in the fridge. They're in my freezer, ready to rock. And now tonight is the night, my friends. It feels good when you plan ahead. I don't know about you, if you think about your meal planning on Sunday or if you do it sort of by the seat of your pants. It does get busy in the summer, but Minnesota Pork wants to be a part of your family's table. And there are recipes that you can do in 15 minutes or you can do in 3 hours, right? I think about the kind of recipe I want to make on a Saturday or a Sunday versus a Wednesday night. Wednesday night is probably the 15-minute variety, right? How about a maple pork burger with apple slaw? Yeah, that's a 15-minute recipe. Lean, ground pork. You get a pound of ground pork at your grocery store, your butcher shop. Get some maple syrup, a little sweet potato, shred some cabbage. Boom, boom, boom. Off you go. Lean, high protein. Supporting 3,000 family farmers every corner of Minnesota. That's what you do every time you go to your grocery store or butcher shop and say, let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Right here in Minneapolis, lives are getting second chances every day. NMDP, a global nonprofit leader in cell therapy, connects blood cancer patients with matching donors, helping save lives in our community and beyond, including WCCO's own Jordana Green. Now you can help. Join us June 17th for the Cure Blood Cancer Radio Auction, live on News Talk 830 WCCO. Bid on exclusive experiences with your favorite on-air personalities. Learn more at go.nmdp.org/radio auction.
I've been burned before. I was just repeating the same patterns. It turns out I had a type.
Workplaces everywhere are looking for love. And by love, we mean the easy way to order food at work. Easy Cater.
I thought ordering from great restaurants at work had to be complicated, but then I met Easy Cater. So many options, so flexible, and when I ordered for 50 gluten-free vegans without going over budget, I knew I'd found the platform I wanted to do life and lunch with.
Fall in love with Easy Cater. Start an order at easycater.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Gas prices are up. Luther Kia of Bloomington is there for you. It's Jason DeRusha. I love my Kia, and I love Dan Digman and his team, plus their brand new facility. More room, more service bays, more Kia excellence. EVs, hybrids, the red-hot 2027 Telluride. I just test drove it. It is awesome. Get to 35W and 494 and check out 0% financing on Sportages and Sorrentos at LutherKiaofBloomington.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Things are slow for West 94, 280 into downtown Minneapolis. 35W northbound got your slowdowns as you move past County Road 96 to Highway 10. 94 westbound near Hemlock Lane, crash off to the right side. Should clear shortly. Crash still working over in St. Paul for southbound 35E as you make way toward West 7th Street. Left lane shut down. Traffic slowdowns actually as far back as Roselawn. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Well, it looks like we're going to dodge the severe weather here in the Twin Cities, although a heavy cell of rain moving towards Hayward, Wisconsin, towards Ladysmith, just to the east of River Falls. All of the heavy storms went east, and we just have heat and humidity in the Twin Cities. The low tonight, 62. Tomorrow, 74 is the high. Rainy tomorrow, scattered showers possible. Friday looks pretty good. A high of 79, mostly sunny. Right now, it's hot. 88 in Woodbury on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
It's so bold. It's adventurous. It's edgy. You know, it's
risky.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Tell me what's my flavor. I don't.
It's a good dive bar. Cash only, no imported beer, might allow Canadian, no website, old jukebox, one arcade game, 2 pool tables max, only food is Haggis Pizza, cooked in a dirty tabletop oven. Everyone gets the stink eye when they enter. Christmas lights year-round is a good call, too. That's correct. That's a good text. That's very good. That's what I want.
I mean, that's there's some thought behind that.
Yes. Ideally, the best dive bar is out of the metro. I know we got a lot of texts about St. Paul and Minneapolis, but the best dive bar is like near Brainerd. There's a bar on Lake Mille Lacs that we used to stop at, and I forget the name of it. Someone will remember, or someone will text him with it. But back at Channel 4, we used to go ice fishing every year. We would go on ice fish-orama is what we called it. And we held a safety meeting before we went out on the ice. And we would go to the Jerry Brandt's ice fish houses, the purple fish houses. You got to have a safety meeting, right?
Of course. At a dive bar.
At a dive bar. All right. The Twins are in a funk, Dan, and we've hit the point of the season that I think we worried we were going to see.
Mm-hmm.
We had this dose of optimism at the start of the season where the Twins appeared to be overperforming what their likely fate was going to be. Last night, just for me, was a tough one, and the terrible series we had against Kansas City.
That's where I really started to wonder. When you drop 3 out of 4 to another team that's struggling as much, if not more, than you are.
I'm trying to emotionally prepare myself for the fact that Joe Ryan is going to be traded, and Byron Buxton might need to be traded.
I mean, Byron has a full no trade, so it's up to him.
It's up to him.
So the team could ask him, but it's ultimately going to be up to him whether he wants to stay or go. Joe obviously is going to be a free agent at the end of the 2027 season, should there be a 2027 season. So this trade deadline, which is August 3rd, I believe, would be the quote unquote ideal time to move him, because whoever traded for him would get him not only for the run this year, but then would have him the full next year. So that's how you maximize your trade value if you're the Twins. Look, they're 30-38, 8 games under 500. They're 6 games back in the division. They're only 3 games back of the last wild card, but they have 5 teams ahead of them. So that's a lot of teams you have to jump over to get into the playoffs. And that really, honestly, is the calculus you have to do as a ball club, is to say, are we going to be a playoff team this year? And if we're not, then are there opportunities to maximize a return for the next year? And I think we're rapid. And again, you have till August, so it's not like you have to start trading guys now, but you have to start. You have to start figuring out, which way you want to go for sure.
It is seeing Taj Bradley struggle in his last couple of outings.
Especially he looked so good early in the year, and it's just something's off. I don't know if that's the injury he came back from or what.
Twins lost 8 of their last 12, all against American League Central opponents. It's tough. Well, hopefully they can turn it around tonight. It's still fun to go to the ballpark, but it was more fun at the start of the season.
It's more fun when they win. There's no two ways about that.
Pre-game at 5 in Detroit. Continental Diamond time check is 3:58.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-979-3535. That's 800-979-3535. 800-979-3535.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
Still live, still local, still listening. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. Just 2 days after President Trump declared that the U.S. would have total victory over Iran in 2 weeks, Israel's defense minister says the campaign against Iran is far from over. There are more defiant comments from Iranian officials. New air attacks between the U.S. and Iran. President Trump now ordering retaliation for Iran shooting down a U.S. Army helicopter. The renewed action led to higher oil prices today, with Wall Street stock indexes closing sharply lower. And the president said the U.S. would attack Iran again today.
Well, we're going to be attacking them and attacking them very hard.
ABC's Karen Travers at the White House.
It's not clear what the president is going to do. Those strikes that were in response to the Iranians taking down that Apache helicopter were said to be proportional. That was according to U.S. officials. But now today, the president indicating that there could be more to come. But he says that is because the Iranians have taken too long to negotiate.
President Trump on social media says a secret mission last month allowed hundreds of oil tankers to travel through the Strait of Hormuz. This after reporters at the White House asked about the latest consumer price index showing the highest inflation in 3 years.
I love the inflation. You know why? Because as soon as this war is over, I can say it now. Something you didn't know. Do you know we've been taking out millions of barrels of oil?
So far, no confirmation of a secret oil transport operation. Analyst Stephen Cates at Bankrate doesn't see the current inflation as short term.
I think that we may start to settle
into a bit of a high level, higher for longer here. So I don't think that we're necessarily going to keep accelerating at this pace, but we're going to have inflation that's elevated for the duration of this conflict.
President Trump signed into law a $70 billion funding bill for immigration enforcement, including ICE. Game 4 of the NBA Finals tonight. The New York Knicks lead the San Antonio Spurs. You're listening to ABC News.
Minnesota's trusted voice every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Partly cloudy, breezy, humid, 90 degrees at 4:02. I'm Laura Oakes. A press conference at the Minnesota U.S. Attorney's Office is about to get started, where federal law enforcement will announce the surrender of a defendant involved in the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme. So far, 65 people have been convicted in connection with misusing the federal child nutrition program and ultimately stealing $240 million, including ringleader Amy Bach. Charges are being prepared against a Minneapolis man after a very long standoff with law enforcement in South Minneapolis yesterday. Hennepin County Sheriff's deputies were attempting to serve an arrest warrant for 31-year-old Tyler O'Brien when he allegedly fired at them several times. Use of force expert Joe Dutton praising all those involved.
They did a great job all around. That was a well-conducted procedure for them. I mean, I thought they did great. It was by the book. And it worked out.
He says while they are specially trained to handle many kinds of situations, serving warrants is the most difficult job that law enforcement officers face. Minneapolis police investigating a fatal shooting. It happened near East 19th Street and Chicago Avenue around 11 this morning. More information is expected to be released later this afternoon. A group of LGBTQ activists calling upon Twin Cities Pride to disallow police and corporations at their annual event.
They've had enough of large companies acting as sponsors for an event that doesn't actually align with its values. Steph York with the Climate Justice Committee.
Our Minneapolis celebration is hijacked by a parade of superficial corporate sponsors acting as fake allies.
One of those companies is Delta. Isaiah Cabrera with Minnesota Immigration Rights Action Committee.
Twin Cities Pride Parade work with sponsors like Delta Airlines, who operate flights for federal agencies to transport detainees. They're basically making money by helping to separate families.
Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
And speaking of Pride, a first in Minneapolis to mark Pride Month.
In a move to honor the LGBTQ plus community during Pride Month, the city will hold a drag queen show inside City Hall. It's reportedly the first time ever that such a show has been held in the administrative building, and it will feature 3 to 5 performers. Pride Month is held each June to commemorate the 1969 Stonewall Uprising in New York City. Susie Jones, News Talk 830 WCCO.
And it has been a busy day of power restoration and cleanup of fallen trees and branches after our overnight storms. Xcel Energy reporting just a handful of customers still without power this afternoon. That is down from a high of about 50,000. WCCO News Time is 4:05.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
And brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Going to find the crash cleared out of the way. Good news, South 35 via West 7th Street, and the left lane's been reopened. Still the slowdowns, though, as you come down from Kellogg Boulevard. If you're going to be traveling along 694 westbound, got your typical slowdowns there, immediately between Matterhorn and 252. 94 westbound, your Hemlock Lane. One car left behind from an earlier crash. Minor slowing in the area. Shop your favorite brands at Whole Foods Market. Save 25% on select Siete items with Prime through June 23rd. Get crowd-pleasing snacking staples, or ingredients for zesty tacos while supplies last. Shop in-store online. Terms apply. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hungry? Go to Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan for real Texas barbecue. All meats smoked fresh in-house daily. You can dine in, take out, have it delivered, or have your event catered anywhere in the metro. Just go to Dickeys.com. Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan, the Twin Cities catering leader.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan, the Twin Cities catering leader. Find them at Dickeys.com. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
A lot of things are moving out. The rain, the storms, the humidity. will be partly cloudy overnight tonight, down to 62. Now, a few scattered showers are possible tomorrow. Nothing severe expected. And what a difference. Only a high of 74. Plenty of sunshine on Friday, up near 79. A bit breezy. We should be dry this weekend with highs in the 70s.
Partly cloudy, breezy right now, still a little on the humid side, 90 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
From morning headlines and the midday conversation to the afternoon scuttlebutt and recap, this is where the news day comes together. News Talk 830 WCCO. Good questions. Topics you'll probably talk about at dinner. Places to go for dinner. This is the Ride Home Reimagined. Time with DeRusha. Thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington. Now, here's Jason DeRusha.
Laura and I just talking about waking up in the middle of the night from those storms, 3 a.m. That wind kind of whipping the rain against the side of Landmark Tower in downtown St. Paul, our apartment building. Woo! It's drive time. Welcome in. We've dodged the worst of it today, at least. You know what they say, though, Dan? We need the rain. We need the rain. That's what nothing makes a dad happier than say, well, you know.
Farmers could really use the rain. Sounds like we're going to get more of a soaker tomorrow. Not anything severe, but there'll be more rain. So everybody that wants the water, it's coming.
All right.
We're just not going to have that severe stuff tonight because it looks like it all moved out to the east. So.
I want to talk about the tone of our politics. Because I've changed my mind on this. I used to be like you. I used to be a tone policer. I used to be a scold. That our political rhetoric is too heated. It's too out of control. Our leaders are setting a bad example and perhaps provoking people to commit acts of violence. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Big story in the Star Tribune. And I want to know your opinion because I do not think that state legislators' tone, that campaign managers' tone, that sort of the nasty rhetoric we have around politics, I don't think it matters at all. I think it is in line with where the rest of society is. I don't think it's leading society. I think it is society. And frankly, I find it very hard to believe, and I don't think I've seen much evidence at all that nasty rhetoric leads people to political violence. 651-461-9226. I'm just skeptical. I have never seen the direct line. And this is always a go-to for people after an act of political violence, and we're approaching the 1-year mark of that horrific day in Minnesota when a guy dressed up like a police officer showed up at the homes of 4 different state representatives and tried to kill them. Shot the Hoffmans, killed the Hortmans. I don't think tone and rhetoric had anything to do with it. At this point, we don't really know what motivated this guy. What I think tone policing is, for the most part, is people getting mad at their opponents. People saying like, wow, your rhetoric is out of line. Now, my rhetoric is necessary in the fight against fascism. That's what the governor said when he was asked by the Star Tribune in a story titled Minnesota Politicians Promised to Soften Their Tone After the Hortman Killing. It didn't last. Of course it didn't last, because these people are us. They are us. Our rhetoric in all things is harsher. Our language is saltier. And I think we use tone as a cop-out from analyzing what the real issues are. What are the real motivators for people who end up over the edge in committing political violence? What did motivate Vance Belter, allegedly? What motivated him to show up at all these houses? We don't know. I will tell you some of the things that motivate these people who commit acts of violence or political violence. First of all, they're almost always men. Second of all, they often have access to legally purchased guns. Third, there are often people in their lives that know something is off, but can't quite put their finger on it or don't quite have the courage to step up and say something. Do we really believe that the governor using harsh language, or Walter Hudson for the Republicans, or Elliot Angin, or any of these other guys, do we really think that rhetoric really matters? I'm skeptical at best, and I find the argument dubious, generally speaking. 651-461-9226. Of course you don't. If Trump said to attack Muslims, indigenous people, or immigrants, let me guess, it's society and not a Trump thing. So I think this texter is trying to... It is interesting. I can never tell if you guys think I'm like a Trump apologist or a raging socialist based on the text of the comments we get. I'm just a common sense person saying what I think. It doesn't line up with one side or the other. Sorry, I'm not that simple to understand. I do think Donald Trump has taken language and taken tone and rhetoric in a direction that I despise. I hate that young people around America today can't look at the president of the United States and say, like, that's someone I want to behave like. You can agree with his politics. You can agree with his policies, all of those things. That's not what I'm talking about. I just think he's an odious human being is the phrase I've used, and I'll use it again. That said, do I think Donald Trump is motivating political violence? I don't know. I'm open to the possibility that our language and our tone is contributing to violence, but I just have not seen any evidence. And I think we try to assign explanation. We try to assign meaning to it. And basically what I see is Republicans pointing out examples where Democrats are out of control. So, for example, responding to my social media post, there's a former Republican kind of chief of staff who is blaming Democrats. He says, and this is the craziness of it for me. They wrote manifestos. Luigi is a celebrity. Democrats are pissed they keep missing Trump. My argument that tone isn't radicalizing people is dangerous. Now, does Andy say boo about Donald Trump or Republican rhetoric? No, because no one really cares about tone. You guys do not care. You just use this as a cudgel to attack the people you don't like. And it's always the other guy. It's always the other guy. Well, why isn't it you then? If the logic is that Democrat rhetoric is leading people to be violent, well, how do you explain Vance Belter, who had a list of Democrats that he wanted to kill? Where does that come from? Is that tone? Can we find which tone to blame that on? That's why I think it's just a load that people turn to tone because it's an easy thing to say. Because, of course, I wish everybody turned down the rhetoric. I'm certainly not arguing that the style of political communication that we engage in is good or productive or good for America. It's not. But I also don't think it's to blame for this political violence. I don't.
It kind of comes down to you're asking what's a cause and what's a symptom, right? I mean, because I think we can, the spot we can start with that people, I think most everybody would agree, is that where we're at right now politically is not healthy and not really sustainable. So what's the cause of that? Is the political rhetoric a cause, or is it a symptom of whatever this problem is, whatever is actually causing it? Is the president the cause of this, or is he a symptom? And I think most of the things that we're trying to pin down as causes are actually symptoms and not so much causes. So when you tell everybody, hey, tone down the rhetoric, well, obviously they're not doing that. But even if they did, would that really change anything about where we're at? Would that change people's feelings about my side's the right side and the other side is the enemy of the people? My side's the right side, the other side hates America.
Right.
Would that really, if we changed the way that we worded that, the vibe is still the vibe, right? I mean, there's still whatever we're at that causes us to be this tribal, this separating ourselves from each other, whatever it is that's leading to that is still going to be there. That's where I'm with you in the sense that I'm not sure, the tone down the rhetoric thing matters, because I don't think it's a cause. I think it's a symptom of this, whatever it is that's plaguing our culture right now that says, no, we have to separate and you have to be on the right side and you have to treat the other side as completely almost foreign to what you believe. The other side has to be the enemy. The other side has to be the person that you attack because they're trying to attack you, whether that's actually true or not. That kind of tribalism, that kind of separating ourselves, that kind of disunity is a plague on our culture right now.
If you really believe tone is the problem, give me an example of one-time tone on your side, your political side, provoked violence, as well as the 20 examples you can give of tone on the other side. This is where I find this to be nonsense. This is where I find it to be nonsense. And again, I'm not arguing. I will say that I am concerned about the fact that all politics has become so personal that instead of engaging on the issue, we have to engage with the person. As you said, the person is the enemy, not the idea. I have tried on this show, and I've doubled down my efforts since the assassination of the Hortmans to not call my callers names, to disagree with their ideas, to not call people stupid, to call their ideas stupid. Just, it's a subtle difference, but it's sort of my way of trying to clean up my own language. I don't think I'm perfect, but I'm trying to clean it up. I also don't think that's what provokes violence. Lots of text coming in. You're welcome to disagree or agree, whatever. That's what we do. 651-461-9226. Drive time back in a minute.
Drive Time with DeRusha. Tuned up and rolling. Thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington.
I really am a very satisfied customer of the Canopy Group. It's Jason here. And I say this because the other day, a friend of mine asked me, like, hey, do you really like that? Do you really like the Canopy? Of course I do. Of course I do. I would not tell you something that I don't believe in. And the Canopy Group, I believe in these guys because I just called the 800 number before I was doing these ads for them. I called 800-967-3389. I just wanted to see how it was. And Kyle answered my call, asked about my current coverage, asked how much I was paying. And he's like, all right, I'll see what I can do for you. You see, I had one insurance agent who represented one company. It's the same deal 80+% of Minnesotans have. The Canopy Group has 16 different insurance companies at their disposal, so they were able to take my scenario, shop the market for me. They came back, saved me $820, and got me better coverage in a number of different areas. Pretty good. And then year after year, they take my info out to market again. They're loyal to me, not to one of these 16 companies. They'll be loyal to you as well. You can get a quote online, thecanopygroup.com, or make that call like I did. 800-967-3389. It's the Canopy Group.
Hey, Jordana, I'm Brian. I'm 58 and single. I have a house, a bunch of investments. I have a sister I'm close to, but no kids or anything tying me down, so I never really worried about planning for the future. Recently, a friend of mine passed away unexpectedly without a will or a trust, and it created a huge mess for the family he left behind. I don't want to be a burden on my sister. I want to be prepared. So why should I choose Gutman Law?
Hi, Brian. Your instincts are correct. If you were to do nothing, the state would decide who's in charge and how to distribute your assets, which is probably not what you want. And your sister will have a lot to sort out by herself. Now, this is the reason why I chose Gutman Law. My family, Matt and Jamie, were so sensitive to the nuances of my situation after a divorce. An estate plan is more than just names and numbers on a piece of paper. It's family. Making it easy on them is what matters most. From healthcare directives to wills to living trusts, Gutman Law can help you determine what type of planning makes sense to protect you and your loved ones. 612-895-1616 or go to mnestatelaw.com. Gutman Law, giving you peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic, the delicious daily detox that will keep you feeling your best. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon or pick up some at your local CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
I never thought of myself as the type to settle down. Never knew where the team's next lunch was coming from. But then I met you, Easy Cater.
Workplaces everywhere are saying, I do want delicious food at work. And they're ordering from beloved restaurants with Easy Cater.
You were reliable. You had great options for every budget, even when marketing ops did keto again. We got through that together. With you, it's just so easy. Easy Cater, will you keep showing up at my workplace forever?
Find love at first lunch. Order at easycater.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Gas prices are up. Luther Kia of Bloomington is there for you. It's Jason DeRusha. I love my Kia, and I love Dan Dingman and his team, plus their brand new facility. More room, more service bays, more Kia excellence. EVs, hybrids, the red hot 2027 Telluride. I just test drove it. It is awesome. Get to 35W and 494 and check out 0% financing on Sportages and Sorrentos at LutherKiaofBloomington.com.
Drive Time with DeRusha, where the conversation's always in drive. Thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Would a boy like you, like a girl like me? Doesn't matter if we don't know where this leads. Would a boy like you, like a girl like me? Like a girl like me, like a girl like me.
Lots of text on this one, on tone. I don't know, Dan, is any of this, is there anything that's really firing you up? Nothing really, you know what, you guys, texters, you could do better. All right, I'll read some of them. Jason, Lance Belter was a coordinated assassination. The gaslighting narrative from the left with the media giving credibility versus the truth.
You had to go right for the tinfoil hat brigade?
Infuriate. Critical thinking truth seekers. What does that even mean? Coordinated by whom?
Yeah, it means I know everybody's going to think I'm crazy, so I'm going to use a term that makes me sound smart.
Silly. Texter says WCCO spends too much time on politics. I'm tired of thinking about what everybody thinks about every stupid subject. You know what? I mean, I do think about that sometimes. Now, I will say, in this show today, we have spent, this is the first, truly political topic. The first topic was about what we should do for businesses who lost revenue during ICE.
Which has a political element
sort of political-ish.
to it.
Then we talked about your favorite dive bar.
Yeah.
Pretty apolitical.
Talked about the ball club.
Talked about the ball club. Oh, that's some fun
But we get
stuff.
it, right? Because, somebody tunes in
It's
just
whenever
to
you
hear the
listen.
first, 5 minutes of the 4 o'clock hour. They don't know what we talked about in the 3 o'clock hour.
What
So-
I recommend is the podcast.
Exactly.
Just search Drive Time with DeRusha, and you can find that podcast wherever you find podcasts. Texters say that it's our two-party system that it always gravitates towards extremism. This is the thing that I think about, Dan. And this texter is saying the only way to really avoid this is by having a third party and you introduce more compromise. I don't know, the acts like the Vance Belcher Act, like we really, I sort of feel like, in the Star Tribune did amazing reporting on the timeline, and the reporter Jeff Day was on with Chad today. But I feel like we still don't really know like what was going on in his head. Was he mentally ill? Was he radicalized in some way? Was he trying to make some sort of point? Like, I just feel like we don't really know.
We don't,
do we?
and I don't know that we may never know.
You may never know, right?
Because that would be something that would come out in a trial, and there's still no guarantee there's going to be a full trial.
And explanations are never as neat as we want them to be. Like a lot of these, like the attempts on Donald Trump's life, one of the guys who was taking a shot at Trump, like, was also considering taking a shot at Biden. So like some of these guys I mean, I wouldn't say mentally ill in a clinical sense, but just like they're not thinking the same way the rest of us are.
Their vision of reality is warped.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's hard to always make sense out of it. Yeah. I get it. I don't think this topic is going to be too political for people, because the World Cup, remember, was it about 10 years ago, there was an iconic sound that was associated with the World Cup. Whenever I think World Cup soccer, you're probably hearing it in your head right now, right? This very distinctive sound. Once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Oh, yes. Oh, sweet vuvuzela. The World Cup, which hates fun, has banned the vuvuzela. We will talk about that, but I want to know what, besides the vuvuzela, is the most annoying sound that you can think of. The most annoying sounds in the world. That's what we're talking about in just minutes. Drive Time with DeRusha, walking you up to Twins pregame here on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRusha is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
Let me tell you an annoying sound. The sound that you make when you realize, oh no, I've got a wedding coming up and I've got nothing to wear. JH and Son is there for you. It's Jason for JH and Sons right at the Galleria in Edina, my men's clothing headquarters. And I was just at JH and Sons over the weekend picking up some clothes for a trip Alyssa and I are taking to Mexico City. JH and Sons helped me pick out, because, you know, you're trying to pack. You don't want to bring a ton of clothes. They helped me create like a capsule wardrobe for this trip. So a pair of pants that'll work with all these different shirts, this sort of summer unstructured sports coat that I could wear to a nice dinner. That's what they do at JH and Sons. It's amazing service. It's incredible people. And if you're looking for a suit for work or for a wedding day or for a graduation or whatever the case may be, they got you covered. But if you're just looking for a way to elevate your night on the town or your vacation, they got you covered too. jhnSons.com. I want you to go to the website and sign up for the email list so you're the first to know about special events and sales, but more importantly, go to the store. Go meet Bryce. Go meet Chuck. Go meet Dean. Go say hi to everybody at JH and Sons and tell them you heard about it from DeRusha.
162 games, and everyone could give you a pitching masterclass.
Fittingly stomps on the base, and Bailey Ober, a complete game, 2-hit shutout.
A game-saving web gem.
Buck dives, and he makes the catch. What a catch by Byron Buxton to keep it a one-run game.
A moment you'll text your friends about tomorrow.
Swung out, hit high in the air, right field. Might have a chance. Out of here! A Christian Gray grand slam.
Don't miss a pitch. Your flagship home for Minnesota Twins baseball. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Talking construction law today with Blake Nelson, an attorney from Helmuth & Johnson. Blake, why is having the right legal support so important?
One delay, one payment issue, or one contract mistake can put an entire project at risk and be the difference between making and losing money. In Minnesota, contract terms, timing, and documentation matter.
How does Helmuth & Johnson help?
We help contractors, subcontractors, and property owners protect their rights, get paid, and keep projects moving.
Learn more at hjlawfirm.com. Helmuth & Johnson, on your side, at your side, for all your construction law needs.
Nobody wants to sell their house for almost the most money possible. You need marketing behind you, and nobody markets homes better than the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. It's Vanita here. Scott and Kathleen from Edina knew that they needed to sell their home for the most money possible to fund their move. They were fed up after our brutal winter and needed the most money possible to afford their dream home somewhere warmer. They interviewed agents, and John's marketing system stood out to them. The Good Neighbor Agents marketing system sells homes for top dollar, reaching thousands of potential home buyers. John's marketing got them 3 massive offers in less than 72 hours. Their home sold for more than $50,000 over the asking price. Are you curious what your home is worth? That's how it starts. Just type in your address on johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
At Wealth Enhancement, we believe wealth is in the details. Our team of trusted advisors craft personalized solutions to help you achieve your financial goals. Tune in to the Your Money Show on News Talk 830 WCCO every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. or go to wealthenhancement.com to connect with one of our advisors.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-979-3535. That's 800-979-3535. 800-979-3535.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Slowdowns in place, traveling west 94, making way past Huron Boulevard into the Lowry Hill Tunnel. North 169, get ready for slowdowns there. Excelsior Boulevard, heading up to Highway 55. Road work now has another ramp shut down over on the West Metro, West 394 to 494 northbound. That ramp is closed till next Wednesday. Just right out the loops to work your way around it. USPS Ground Advantage reliable route, that's going to be 94 eastbound free-flowing as you make way between 61 and Manning Avenue. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
You sit on your deck and you're sick of looking at your crappy siding. Type JTR on your computer for roofing, siding, gutters, windows, and more. JTR Roofing has you covered from the roof on down, serving the Twin Cities Metro. For a free estimate, visit jtrroofinginc.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
JTR Roofing bringing us Chris Schaefer.
Tonight will be very transitional. The rain and the storms clearing out. Much more comfortable air moving in. Partly cloudy, falling back to 62 overnight tonight. Scattered showers are possible tomorrow. We'll take the rain and bank it. Nothing severe expected, a high of 74. Friday, the sunshine returns, a high of 79, which is close to average. A bit breezy. Our high should stay in the 70s right through the weekend.
Brooklyn Park, it is 90 degrees here on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRusha.
He creates a narrative that is advantageous to him. And frankly, at times it's disturbing.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? Guys! I've been doing just fine. Gotta be
Such a great scene from Dumb and Dumber Most annoying sounds in the world. We're thinking about this because FIFA totally changing the vibe of the World Cup. When you think about the 2010 World Cup, the vuvuzelas that you heard all the time. And a vuvuzela is the very sort of long trumpet-like thing that generates a sound that is, well, it's something like this. It's like a swarm of bees. Yeah. Cicadas. It's giving cicadas.
Murder hornets.
651-461-9226. Most annoying sound. We go to Mark from Navarre. Mark, the most annoying sound is
screaming rabbits.
Ooh.
This wins it all up, Jason. Seriously. You remember everybody remembers the Branch Davidians, the Waco thing? Yeah. Well, the FBI learned from the military a way that they used to try to drive them out of that Waco. So they set up all the way around the perimeter of that thing, blasting the sound of screaming rabbits, which, by the way, sounds something like, not that I have any experience in this, but it sounds like a baby on fire.
Ooh.
That's about as close as.
That's a horrible sound. Dan, yeah. I may have a rabbit scream. A little like that.
No, it's way worse than that.
Worse than that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right.
I don't know if you probably get it off of YouTube, I suppose. It's a horrible sound. We had a rabbit as a kid, and it bit through the Christmas tree extension cord.
Ooh.
And as it flew across the living room through midair about 20 feet, it let out a sound like you just can't believe that that's a rabbit. You think of rabbits are
worse than that, even? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's not it.
Sounds.
It's not.
Our quick YouTube work here is not. Somebody send me a link. Send me a link. Thank you, Mark. Pickleball, says a texter. Pickleball is bad. Dental drill. Oh, the dental drill.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. Dan, what for you? Do you have like the
I was trying to think of one that makes me cringe. And the thing I thought of was the car alarm, which, I mean, that's supposed to be annoying to get your attention.
Right.
But, you know, like living in an apartment building with a surface lot outside and somebody's car gets nudged or something, and here goes the car alarm.
That's the dental drill.
That's the dental drill. Yeah.
Dental drill does bring trouble. It's not great. Car alarm is a horribly annoying sound.
I think it's the repetitiveness of it, you know?
Yeah.
It just goes and it goes and it goes and it goes.
Annoying.
Yeah. No, not good.
Annoying for sure.
Sets the teeth on edge.
Corkscrew cardboard compactor. That's very ooh, fingernail file. Yeah. What about the clipping? The fingernail clipping. I think that can be a triggering sound. Another texter says the Cars for Kids jingle. Yeah. What about the
they just changed it. They just mixed it up and gave you a new one. Come on.
Isn't there what is the new jingle? It's like is it like
it's got more of a rock vibe to it.
Yeah. Donate your car today. Yeah. All right. Crying children, says a texter.
I mean, that can be one.
Which is worse, your children crying or other children crying? I would say other children. Other children is worse for me. Shaletta, says a texter. Well, I mean, which WCCO personality's voice is the most annoying? Probably mine, I would say. I feel like I'm in it for sure.
I'm sorry, were you waiting for me to jump in and say, "Oh no, Jason, no, not you at all"?
It's an option. It's an option.
Well, we're all options.
There. No, you defending me would have been an
that was that was an option. You're right.
FIFA banned the vuvuzela. They banned the air horn. There is research on the most and least unpleasant sound. There's a bunch of sort of mumbo jumbo about frequency range. If you're between the 2,000 to 5,000 hertz, that is the most annoying. And so the worst sound, according to science, is a knife scraping against a bottle. The second worst is a fork on a glass. The third worst is chalk on a blackboard. The fifth is nails on a blackboard.
Yeah, that one's never good.
After that, a woman screaming. And then after that is a woman talking.
Send your cards and letters.
Not true.
Care of WCCO Radio to Jason DeRusha.
Brakes on a cycle squealing. Now,
oh yeah, just any brake squeal. Yeah, no, that's not. Yeah,
electric drill. I don't find an electric drill particularly annoying. That sound.
Again, I wonder if that's like a repetitive thing, right? Where if it's just and then you're done, that's one thing. But if it's just constant.
Air horns banned.
Here's where I give air horns a pass.
Okay.
I don't know if you stumbled into this on TikTok, but there are the prank videos or the compilations of people scaring the what out of their coworkers with an air horn.
Yeah.
I cry laugh to those every time I see one of them. Even if I've already seen it before, I still howl laughing at it.
Do you have a favorite air horn sound?
No.
I like my favorite air horn sound is like when a deep.
Sure.
Because then the party's on, right? Like the dance floor is jamming.
The 4-barrel one that, it's like a truck horn kind of thing. Those are pretty good. Mostly what I enjoy is watching people get so startled that like the electrical signals from their brain interrupt for half a second. They just go rigid and almost fall over.
Air horn prank.
I don't want that to happen to me. I just like seeing that happen to me.
But that's a pretty good prank. Apparently a manager or a boss text again. The worst sound is any employee droning on and on about stupid stuff. I would say the most annoying sound is when the boss is droning on and on about annoying stuff. Not that our boss ever would.
No.
Not that we had a meeting before the show today. None of that was annoying. Andrew in Roseville, most annoying sound, Andrew?
Yes, sir. I would agree with all those previous, but to me, I think the worst sound in the world could be, "Sir, do you know why I pulled you over?"
Oh,
fair.
Yes.
Very fair. Yeah.
That is rough.
Oh,
yeah, very good.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Andrew. That's excellent. That is very annoying. We're going to break in a minute. We will come back and talk about an unbelievable contrast between the two Republican candidates for U.S. Senator. This contrast played out when Michelle Tafoya was on with Chad earlier today, and they had a conversation about indirectly about a conversation that I had with Adam Schwarze, the other Republican candidate, last week. Drive Time back in just a minute.
Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I think if your home is for sale on the open market right now, the most annoying sound you could hear is the sound of your realtor coming back to you and saying, the offer fell through. The buyers backed out. The inspection wasn't good enough. The mortgage rate went up. And so they've decided that they can't pull the trigger right now. It's Jason here for Chris Lindahl, because Chris Lindahl has a better way. The guaranteed cash offer is so innovative. You get cash for your home You don't have to fix anything up. You don't have to do an improvement. You don't have to worry about the inspection. You don't have to pay commission to some real estate agent. You go to chrislindahl.com, get the free smart seller guide right now, and decide if this makes sense for you. More and more Minnesotans are saying yes to the big red check and yes to Chris Lindahl. It's because they don't want the stress. They don't want the headaches. They don't want to deal with it. You offload all of that to Chris Lindahl. You just get peace of mind and money in your bank account. Sounds good to me. chrislindahl.com. Get a big red check. Get a guaranteed cash offer. Terms and conditions may apply.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business?
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more. So you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hey, you! Yeah, I'm talking to you! We got a show and it's Guys and Dolls at Chanhassen and Dinner Theaters. It's terrific and delicious because you got dinner and a show. Don't take my word, everybody's loving it. The Pioneer Press called it a must-see. Star Tribune called it eye-popping and blazing with brilliance. I heard a lady from Eden Prairie say this is the best show she's ever seen at the Chan. Grab your doll or your guy. Get your family over here for Guys and Dolls. Visit chanhassendt.com.
Gas prices are up. Luther Kia of Bloomington is there for you. It's Jason DeRusha. I love my Kia, and I love Dan Digman and his team, plus their brand new facility. More room, more service bays, more Kia excellence. EVs, hybrids, the red hot 2027 Telluride. I just test drove it. It is awesome. Get to 35W and 494 and check out 0% financing on Sportages and Sorrentos at LutherKiaofBloomington.com.
Chad back here with you on CCO. I want to talk insurance and the group I have trusted for 30 years. Not just me, my father, my boys. We have been with Amber Scholl and Associates the entire time. They are with American Family, and trust is the right word. When something awful happens with your business or your home or your car, you need people who are available. You need individuals who have a team, and they've handled every situation. Amber and her team have done that. Let's be honest. Insurance rates are complicated. You need someone who knows this business in all ways, and I wouldn't be with Amber for 30 years unless I totally believed in her. Call today, 651-738-4811, and tell me you heard this spot from Chad on CCO.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Talked about USPS Ground Advantage, finding slowdowns for southbound 35E, Highway 36, all the way down to Highway 13, traveling 35W. That's a slow ride southbound run. As you make way out of Minneapolis, heading down to the crosstown. Up on the north side of the metro, you'll find 94 westbound slowing between Boone Avenue and Weaver Lake Road. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Washburn McCreevy invites you to a free seminar for pre-planning your funeral and cremation services to help protect your family in the future. Enjoy food, visit with speakers from the Nokomis Park Chapel, Wednesday, June 17th at 11:30 a.m. Information at washburnmccreevy.com or 612-377-7841.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, here's the forecast thanks to Washburn McCreevy Funeral, Cremation, and Pre-Planning Services. Tonight, showers and storms move out. Most of that out of the metro already. Partly cloudy, less humid, low of 62. Oh, our old friend less humid's going to be around that. Fantastic. Tomorrow, scattered showers possible, high of 74. That sounds good. Friday, 79, mostly sunny. Fantastic. Finally back to a little more normal around here, right? It's stinking hot and humid, 86 in Minneapolis on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRusha is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Go see Dan Dingman and the crew today, or always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
All right, Twins baseball on the air on CCO. Pregame starting in about 8 minutes. Republicans. How do you not vote for Michelle Tafoya? Michelle Tafoya was on with Chad Hartman today, and I understand sending a political novice to the United States Senate is a bit of a risk. And obviously, Michelle Tafoya, if she gets through the primary, is going to have a tough race because both Angie Craig and Peggy Flanagan have been on the ballot statewide. Well, Peggy Flanagan statewide. Angie Craig has been reelected in a very divided district repeatedly. So both, Angie Craig has a lot more electoral experience than Peggy Flanagan, but both have been in the arena. That said, I want you to hear the difference in the way Michelle Tafoya handled a question about that moment of silence at the Republican Party nominating convention 2 weeks ago, as it compares to the conversation we had with Adam Schwarze. Here is Michelle on with Chad earlier this afternoon.
Okay, the Chauvin matter, which has become a part of it, and I know you weren't in the room, but
doesn't matter. I think it was ridiculous.
Why was that allowed?
Well, so I don't know. I had left that morning, so I wasn't there at the convention date, but I do have an opinion on it, and I will express it. I will not shy away from this. It was silly from what I understand, and I talked to some people who were actually on the stage, that there were a couple of people in the delegation who on a voice vote asked for this 10-second of silence, and a handful more seconded it, and they just let it happen. Silly, not the place, not the time.
Insulting, right?
Just doesn't represent the Republican Party as a whole, and so it didn't need to happen there. And I'm glad I wasn't there, but I wish it hadn't happened.
Simple, direct, non-dodging, straight answer. Excellent. Now, she didn't get into do I think Derek on and on and on. She didn't. She just very simply and directly said, this was stupid. Here, to refresh your memory, and I think you'll detect what Michelle Tafoya was referring to at the beginning of her answer. Here is my conversation with Navy SEAL, American hero, and political novice. And you can add whatever adjective you want after you hear Adam Schwarze.
I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't even there. I was greeting people at the other end of the building. A long list of people that were coming.
Similar start. I wasn't there.
So I just found out about it yesterday as well via Twitter or something.
And do you think it was an appropriate thing to do, or should they have shut it down? What would you have done if you were running the convention?
I wasn't there, so I'm not going to comment on something I didn't even hear about till yesterday.
Well, it's just a moment of silence. I don't know that you had to witness it to know, right? Is that something that you would condone, or you would have?
I wasn't there, so I'm not going to comment on something I wasn't there because I don't know all the atmospherics that went into it. Certainly, there was something happening at that point in place. I wasn't at that point in place.
So it's either when you listen to the way Schwarze handled it, and when you listen to the full interview, which you can find Schwarze's on my podcast or on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WCCO Radio, or just search Drive Time with DeRusha, and compare it to the interview that Michelle did with Chad Hartman, and you can find that on Chad's podcast. It's night and day. It's night and day. And to me, I would like to see more common sense Republicans up in a general election. I think it makes the Democrats better candidates when they have a sharp opponent to run against. And I think a lot of us want people who are going to be more in the middle. And the fact that the Republicans at their endorsing convention endorsed two people over the Speaker of the House, Lisa Damon, and Michelle Tafoya, to me, makes no sense. And does bring up the question of whether the hardcore Republicans actually want to win. If you want to win, I think your choices are pretty obvious. But it's worth a whole listen to that conversation Chad had. We'll try. We've been trying. We want to have everybody on the show. So plenty of time before the August primary. Continental Diamond time is 4:56. Time to get to Continental Diamond in St. Louis Park. Pick out a pre-owned timepiece, luxury, beautiful. Man, they got them at all different price points, incredible service, some of the great minds in pre-owned watches right there at Continental Diamond in St. Louis Park. Twins on the air here in just a couple of minutes. So it's the Twins in Detroit. First pitch at 5:40. And let's hope they turn it around, man. Woof. Mike Paredes getting the start.
Looks like they're going to do a bullpen game today, so we'll see.
You know what? Baseball, man. It's better than, well, it's better. I was going to say it's better than a slap in the face, but last night I'm not so sure. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. See you right here.
You know the feeling when your body is tired, but your brain just won't shut off?